Welcome to my garden. As you know, COVID's been going on, a lot of stuff happening, but it's also a lot of smoke in the air. As you can see the haze back here behind me. I think half of Montana, Oregon, Idaho, and Washington are on fire, and thus all the smoke. Talked to a guy clear back in New Jersey today. He says, I think the smoke's reaching clear to here. He has friends that are seeing smoke in Kansas from these fires. It's pretty amazing. We've had record heat, and it's been interesting. Anyway, we're here to talk about our garden and our greenhouse. So the greenhouse is 4 years old now, and we just picked some zucchini, some cucumbers. The beans are almost done in there, but anyway, drop that one. They've been really good. So we've picked those 4 times, I think, so they're about done. Tomatoes, looking good. And we have like 5 different kinds of tomatoes in there growing. And all around us here, the farmers, of course, are monocropping. And this year, their big crop is canola. And it's a special kind of canola that's being grown for fish food, high in omega-3. They've been using Roundup on that when it was young, but now all the flowers have dropped, and the seed pods are coming on strong. And I think one of the most interesting things for me was to see what the farmer did about nutrition and those plants. Instead of putting a bunch of fertilizer in the ground before they started, what they did is that after the plants started to flower, he came with the sprayer and drove his tractor through the fields and used the foliar spray to fertilize those plants. And man, they really took off, and it wasn't very long that they dropped their flowers. And now we have a great crop of canola for those fish. And I'm not sure I would eat a fish that was grown that was eating food that was grown this way, but it's been interesting to watch them grow it. And it reminds me, I had a conversation with a person just yesterday, and we were talking about their greenhouse and how much problems, this was in Alaska, they were having a lot of problems with aphids. And they said, what is up with all these aphids? And we started talking about how the insects are just mass produced because of the monocropping. So you get thousands of acres of canola, for example, or grain or anything else. A few insects come in and they just mass produce, and that's the reaction to that for most farmers, is that they spray it with insecticide and kill those. Of course, that's not healthy for the environment, it's not healthy for us because it gets absorbed into the food. But we were talking about that, how the insects, they mass produce, and they get up blown up into the jet stream and get blown all over the country. And that's why we get these pockets of just one kind of insect. All of a sudden they're showing up by the billions in gardens and farms, and it traces back to that monocropping. So what's the answer? Well, getting back to the old ways of farming. It's really encouraging that there's a lot of farmers that are starting to go back to the old ways. And you know, back after the Dust Bowl days, they didn't have those insecticides, so they grew crops side by side in strips. The insects were not inundating the whole thing. They would be drawn into certain things that were a lot of times just not even crops that they would use except for green manure. Anyway, there's a lot of information out there, and I'd encourage you, if you're interested in that, to check that out. And also go to the USDA website and check out how many crops there are that the USDA is allowing to be sprayed with glyphosates, that's Roundup, at the end of their lives. So that's called desiccation. So the potatoes that are grown, like in Idaho and Mass, they're not going in with a defoliator machine anymore and defoliating those vines. What they're doing is they're using Roundup to kill those vines. Same way with the sugar beets. And over 70 crops are doing that. A lot of pea crops like chickpeas, and even grain now. They're going in with the glyphosate at the grain's already dead, but they're using the glyphosate to dry those crops. And so it's easier for them to harvest, and they can control when they harvest. And who can blame the farmers? They're not getting any money for their, well, they're getting money, but not enough for their crops. And when you think about all that glyphosate going in there and the system that we have for our food now, you have to ask yourself, what is the cost of all that cheap food? And the only way that's going to change is you and I with our pocketbook. What kind of food are we going to buy? Are we going to support our local food systems, the local organic, clean farmers? Get to know your farmer and buy from them. Go to the farmers markets. When you go to Costco or other stores, buy the organic stuff, and that'll help. And we know that some of the organic food, they just change their kind of poison from one to another to get it organically certified, but it is a step in the right direction. And again, I encourage you to share this, to talk to people about it, and make them aware of what's going on with our food system. And anyway, I wanted to show you what's going on in the greenhouse. And before I do that, I want you to think about what we just talked about, because the Bible says that we should do all things in moderation. So that's like monocropping. That's not really moderation. But anyway, we had something going on in the greenhouse, and you should see this, because we all know that water is a good thing. But in this case, too much water is not a good thing. Let's check it out. Not good, but we'll get it fixed. And about a month ago, we got all the apricots off this tree. The peach trees are looking good. Got some peaches going on here. This is the second season for this artichoke. It's looking pretty ragged right now. We've been harvesting the artichokes as flowers for a wedding. Lots of tomatoes coming on. And look at that. A guava plant. Looking good. Those avocados are coming along. This is my lemon tree. And that is a hemp plant. As you can see, it's huge. Kind of funny shape, because I've been cutting the branches off of it because they were clear over through the walkway. When you have good soil, sun, and good water, things happen. So Jaden, what do you have there?
My pet toad. I caught it about when I was 3 or 4, and then he came to be my pet in the greenhouse.
So what do you think of this hole?
It's not very good.
What do you think we should do about it?
Take out the rocks, put them outside of the greenhouse, and then see what's going wrong inside of the hole, and then put dirt inside of it, and then stack the rocks and put them on top of the dirt.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Thanks for your help.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it goes. Finding any beans, boys?
No. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I found a bean. Oh, you want to pick it? Yeah. I can do this one too. Ew, connect. Look here.
Zai, what are you doing?
I'm picking tomatoes.
Show me one.
Yep.
Oh, good job. Oh, it's getting full. Wow, good job.
Hello. Papa.
What are you doing?
We're sipping the beans because they're all dead. What are you doing?
How you holding up there, bud?
Well, I found a good one.
You did?
Right here. Oh, I did.
Yes, you did it, didn't you? See this? Go like that. Up over, then you can turn it over and get that out of there.
Okay. You have to wash them.
Later, alligator. What are you doing, Jaden?
Digging out a water pool,
Why?
so we can cap it.
What are you doing, Zai?
I'm finding a rope.
What are you going to do with it after you find it?
I'm gonna keep it.
Where are you going to put it? You going to put it back in the dirt so it won't die?
What was that? What is that? What is that?
This is a cutter.
Oh, I see water.
Ah!
I see water.
Yes, you do. We're going to use that water and we're going to clean this off. So that pipe goes past there into the other planter box. So we have to dig that out because it's on a T.
Ow.
So where the pipe comes up is where we'll cut it off. But just dig it out good so we can keep it clean, okay?
Okay. And help him.
Ta-da! With the help of my two great grandsons, we got this thing done in no time. And so what we found was the problem mainly is that a root had gotten through the membrane, the pond liner that was in the self-watering planter box that was here. So we took that out. We decided to just go ahead and leave it out for now and do our winter planting in there. And I'm going to do some zone heating growing, much like we did in the planter box, but down on the ground. We'll see how that works out just as an experiment. So please subscribe, and thank you for watching. Oh, and I need to let you know, you might be wondering what this is, biochar. We have a company called Genesis Biochar. You can see it on genesisbiochar.com. All USDA certified biochar. Great soil conditioner. It's used for a lot of other stuff. It's a good website. Encourage you to check that out. So until next time, be blessed.